Hello, I'm SKYND and you're watching rockflash.com.
We're back at Manchester Academy, and tonight we have the fantastic, the phenomenal SKYND with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, so second to last night of the tour, I think. Is it? Oh,
yes.
sad days. How's the tour been though? Been good?
It has been amazing actually, yeah. I mean, I'm still really, like, how you say that? Flashed actually by all the positive feedback we had. I mean, I've been to Europe now in 1 year for 3 times. First headline tour we had in September, then we've been on tour with SKYND supporting them as a special guest, and now second headline tour in Europe, and it's going so well, and I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome, brilliant. Yeah, I think it was Deaf Institute you were at last time here, I think.
Exactly.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. And we
like right next to.
Yes. Yeah, and we covered you. So there's photos and review from the SKYND gig. So yeah, it was a fantastic gig. And the first time we saw you actually was at Sweden Rocks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we went across.
That has been amazing as well.
Yeah. It's a great festival.
It is, and also when we played in Sweden, there were a lot of fans, and they were like, "Oh, I saw you at Sweden Rock for the first time." I was like, "Oh, thank you for coming back. That's amazing."
Makes it worth it, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Do you enjoy doing festival slots equally to your own kind of headline slots, or is it nice actually performing to non-fans potentially?
I think it's to me it's different, because when I'm headlining my own tour or my own shows, I have a really dark place I can play on, and with festivals sometimes with the slot it's like daytime, so I prefer nighttime, but I mean you have to start somewhere, so that's fine. But I do love all the festivals. Hellfest was amazing. It was an early morning show actually, and it was amazing because it was raining, so it was kind of dark, so it worked out pretty well.
Exactly. Sometimes the weather does work in your favour.
Exactly.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know your style of music, your performance, how would you describe it?
I translate true crime cases into music. That's what I do, and I call it true crime music.
There we go. I think that's exactly what we put in the review. Certainly, I think kind of any fans of something like, say, Stabbing Westward, kind of D'Antwoord kind of vibe would absolutely love your stuff. That kind of, you know, it's that kind of, it's like avant-garde industrial almost. I think like a lot of our kind of watchers, readers would get on board with. Where did that idea for the true crimes theme come from?
It actually started when I was a little girl. I was around like 3-4 years old when my imaginary friend SKYND showed up for the very first time, and he introduced himself as SKYND, and he started whispering all those horrible stories in my ear, and I wasn't turned off by it. I was actually drawn to it, but as a little girl I couldn't digest it. And I had to find a way to actually digest those stories, so I started writing notes in my notebook, and in my early teens I listened to The Wall for the first time of Pink Floyd, and because it's about a true event as well, it gave me the courage to actually do the same. And when music came into the whole game for me with like writing down the facts and everything, it started making me feel more light, and I could actually do something with it, like with all my emotions I felt, and this is how it started. But it was all because of my imaginary friend that this interest started. It's
kind of cathartic experience now through the music. And I think so. You've not done an album. You do individual cases, don't you?
So never do an album.
I was going to say, would an album ever maybe?
I mean, if it's a concept album, exactly. If it's a concept album, I can focus on one topic. I think that would make sense for me. But the problem with album is that if I would come up with an album of like 12, 10, whatever songs, you know, there are 10 different cases. And then I have to be the one deciding which of all those cases is the most important one. And all those cases are very important to me, and I feel like all of them deserve the attention and a video, a music video as well, so you get my visual aspect for it as well. And I don't want to do that.
No.
I just don't. And I'm writing a book. I'm a storyteller. I want to keep the chapters that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. And I think, yes, obviously there's a very, very visual aspect, very theatrical aspect to videos, to the performance on stage. Where fantastic outfits, the makeup, the whole feel on stage, you know, with kind of like father, the hooded figure, everything. Where have you drawn inspiration from for well, you know, your look and the whole feel?
I think the looks came to be with me dreaming about them. I always had these vivid dreams of like colors, and then I wake up and I have to write it down in my notebook. And I've never been a fan of just coming out with like just white and black colors. I was like, it's just everyone's doing that. I want to be different. I always wanted to be different, and that's why all the colors came into the play as well. I mean, I come from the dark place, but I feel like when I'm coming out of the dark place and I show myself, I can actually wear some colors. So. And it's also a way of like expressing myself. And I like that.
Do you have a favorite outfit that you've worn so far? Or does it change with the time?
I actually do have a lot of favorite ones. I cannot really decide which one. I like the Edmund Kemper suit I was wearing. There will be new outfits coming as well. I can't tell you a lot about it, but I think when it comes to like new outfits, that's like the one I love the most, because it's like the right in time outfit I just had in mind, and that excites me a lot.
It just pops in,
Yes, exactly.
That's interesting actually, with obviously the way, certainly say for the videos, the outfits obviously kind of matching the theme, the content. That was one of the things I was wondering about with regards to the songwriting process. Almost what comes first? We often say the chicken or the egg kind of thing, but is it the thing, the case, and then you're like, right, how do I write this, the lyrics, or is it kind of, I've got this music that would fit this? And
I mean, Father's in the studio and he's actually only coming up with like melody lines, or he's like trying out new instruments with like a lot of effects on it. And my part is I come with like the cases, and then I have a visual or a vision in my head already, and I sing it to him, and then he's like, oh, that actually fits with what I just came up. So it's actually like this kind of like level up each other, you know. But it starts with the case, because it's the vision I have and how I want the case to sound like. But it's a match made in heaven with Father as a producer, because it just works out so well, because sometimes he's like, oh, I had literally the same idea. So and
when it clicks, it's really, really good.
Exactly.
I think we said that when we interviewed Lake Malice, and we were speaking with Blake and Alice, and they said they just clicked. They'd worked with so many people, and it just when you know, and it just clicks with that collaboration.
It was as well when I met Father for the first time in Australia. He was such a weird guy. He was just like walking back and forth, and I was so drawn to this guy because I was like, okay, I feel this connection somehow. So I was sitting next to him and we talked about true crime, because I was like, you know, that's my interest. And he was like, yeah, actually mine too. So we went to the studio the next day and it clicked. I think this is what they meant as well. It's this click, and you feel like, yeah, that's the connection, and it's a match made in heaven.
Especially when you have a unique sound, or a unique sound, or a unique kind of theme, feel. Then it's going to be more difficult to find potentially.
Exactly. I mean, I've been not taken seriously for a very long time with the idea I had to actually write about true crime, because people were like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm just like, no, why? Who's actually drawing the line what you can do and what you can't do? You know? And I feel like good art should provoke, and it should actually do something with you, you know?
I think true crime's a big it's kind of a big pull on TV now, isn't it? As well, with regards to that, do you think that's helped widen maybe your fan base?
Probably.
Or,
Probably it helped. But I've had that interest for like ever, and I'm happy that people are now interested in it as well, and it's not like people tell you, oh, it's weird, because when I was growing up and I was maybe 7, 8 years old and I wanted to talk to my friends about true crime cases, they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And now people are like, oh yeah, I read that book too, or I saw that movie too. You know, it's a more modern thing as well. But I feel like that it's a good change because it helps us as well to talk about mental health more. And
well, totally. Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to ask actually, because of course there's always going to be slight controversy with kind of things to do with true crime, etc. Is it? I often feel with your music and the content, the lyrical content, it's very much. It's obviously not glorifying it, it's bringing attention to it, but the balance as well. That these are, you know, they're kind of victims of their own circumstance and their own selves as well as their victims.
Exactly. I mean, we call it inhumane cruelties, but at the end of the day, they're all human. So it's not pretty. It's not inhuman.
No.
You know, or inhumane. It's still a human being. It's not a monster, and everyone has a story to tell. And I'm not saying like, or I don't want to give people the feeling that I'm glad that they did what they did. No, it's a way of life, and they had a backpack as well, you know, with all their mental problems probably. Eileen Warnes is one of like the best examples for me, because in the 90s people were like, okay, how can a prostitute be raped? And you're like, that's weird. I mean, she had a grandfather raping her all her childhood like days, and then she grew up, she had to give her kid up for adoption, and then she was a prostitute, she had an alcohol problem, and then she lashed out. And it's a different way of lashing out than, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer, who played with roadkills, you know. And I think it's important for me to talk about it and not forget about, or not turning a blind eye.
No.
You know.
Have to learn from history, otherwise the same things happen.
Well. I mean, if you don't learn from it, it will repeat itself. And right now we're in the middle of repeating history, which is super sad. Yeah.
So each of the cases, you're basically telling a story through the songs on stage, etc. One of the key ways, I think I'm right in saying, is the different vocal pitches, styles. I mean, your kind of just clean and affected voice is absolutely stunning, and then it just takes extra levels when it's pitch shifted up, down, this kind of electronic effect. Are you using those different kind of effects and sounds to create those different characters? Because that's what it sometimes feels like. Exactly,
it helps me to tell the story. You know, the high-pitched vocals is more like this childlike, innocent, but it's also creepy, and the demon voice just sounds really bad and mean and evil. And it helps me to create the story with my vocals as well. For the live shows, I try to have this balance between the real vocals and the effects.
More so than on records?
Yes. Yes. But still, like when I record something, you only hear my voice. On stage, I can show you like all what I like, what body language, you know, how I perform, how my face expression looks like. But when I record it, this actually helps me to tell the story how I want to tell the story.
Yeah, because it's the whole piece, isn't it? As you're saying, especially like a lot of the lyrics are very kind of onomatopoeic, you know, there's that kind of like sound, like rat-tat-tat, you know, etc. It's that whole kind of piece. Just thinking about, you know, a couple of fun questions. Collaborators, obviously Jonathan Davis, you already collaborated with.
That was amazing. I mean, when he sent an email to Father, and he was like, oh, can I be part of that? And when Father told me about that, I was like, you're joking. He showed me, and I was like,
what? I thought it was like a Catfish episode or something.
Yes, exactly. And that was a dream come true, because Jonathan Davis is obviously one of my biggest idols as well. Yeah.
Is there anyone you'd love to collaborate with at all?
Oh, there are many. There are many. I mean, if we talk about Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, David Gilmour, idols. But also like Sleep Token, I could see that collab.
I think I put that in my review actually, that you'd be perfect matches,
I feel
so
like
yeah.
as well. And Bring Me the Horizon would be amazing. Or Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. I would love to have a collab with him as well.
Awesome.
So there are a lot out there. But I also feel like you can just get out of this genre and have someone totally random, because I mix genres together as well. So I would be totally open up for that. I mean, if Lady Gaga wants to join, I mean, why not?
It'd be a great mix there. So 2024.
Yes.
What can we expect? More touring, some new cases?
We're still planning on 2024, but there will be new releases and there will be new videos, and we're playing Motocultor, this French festival.
Grass Pop as well?
Yeah, Grass Pop as well. We just announced that, so there will come some new announcements as well. And we're still planning, but there will be new music, new videos.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's what we love to hear. Well, thank you very much for spending time with us. Can't wait to see you tonight on stage. Of course, we'll have the review, we'll have the photos together with this interview. Like, subscribe, all that stuff that you do along the bottom. And SKYND, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've been rockflesh.com. Thank you.